Let's look at what impacts decision making. Budget, finances, resources are a key aspect to the strategic plan and meeting the needs of our constituents. So, overall, it's important to remember that a budget can define our objectives or trim the number of objectives. It can determine an organization's future activities or lack thereof. A budget assists in determining cost of employees and the cost of a manager. So, that's our human capital. We can understand what's the true cost of having 14 versus 16 employees, or whatever mix you're looking at. The budget allows a manager to plan for future budgets and make reallocations. Each year, or even more trimmed down than that, each month or week, we have various things that may come and go that require budgetary allocations. If we know overall what the budget is from year to year and we can make adjustments, we understand that in the long term, the budget is a planning mechanism. It's a reflection of our priorities for that upcoming year. Then we can look at management indicators and monitoring. So overall, there's a few things we can do as a manager. We can control time. And this really means how much time do we spend on certain things? How much time do we spend in the planning process, on maintenance, or whatever it may be? You really want to make sure that you're utilizing the time the best way possible. We can set work targets. This is what we want to accomplish. We can estimate staffing levels or manage staffing levels. We may need more people during peak times or peak activity, and less people at other times. We can measure program effectiveness. What programs are most effective in achieving their goals? What goals are most important in achieving? We can do periodic reports to help us understand these on a combined level, looking at all of them together. Overall, things like this help decision makers improve productivity. And this is really, we're looking at what the actual stasis is, what the actual levels of productivity are compared to what they could be or to a certain benchmark or standard. Here we're looking at technology, and really what we're doing is making sure that we strategically align the issues that we were going to try to solve with our technology use and employment. So there's a need for a coordination of strategic planning with budget and resource request. There's also, you want to modify the operating budget and their request with proper notification. So make sure that you're not doing it without proper notification of all affected entities. Really what we're looking at here is how can we best use technology to meet our needs as far as coordination, planning, implementing, and evaluating our goals and objectives and outcomes. Overall, it's important to know and understand that technology is there to help us achieve our goals and outcomes. Technology helps us communicate our intentions, our plans. It can help us by collecting data to make better decisions. It can help us form and facilitate strategies to overcome issues, meet demands, and achieve outcomes. IT personnel can also help us in a lot of ways, whether it's providing certain software, deploying certain softwares, collecting certain information, updating hardware, and so forth. Let's look at a couple of typical issues when it comes to information technology and information technology in the workplace. First is proper training of the management team. Basically, we want to make sure that everybody has the training needed to use the technology we have. Number two, poor communication among management and IT personnel. IT personnel needs to inform management of any issues that may arise, and management needs to also have a communication with things that they need to accomplish or overcome. Number three, understanding of non-information technology staff and management of providing computer service. So really, this is a two-way street of understanding and communication between technology staff and non-technology staff. Lack of well-written and understood strategic plan. Really what we're looking for here is to improve our strategic plan so that all staff, including technology, understands how their role fits into goal attainment and outcome attainment. Lack of consistency among separate divisions in the strategic plan. So, again, we must all look at how we fit into the strategic plan. So, if we all work toward a common goal, we will have better strategy as far as policies, procedures, processes. Number 6, allowing interacting divisions to have separate, uncoordinated plans. So, this is going back to the same thing again. We need to make sure that everybody's on the same page and working toward the same goals. Obviously, a division like technology is going to be much different than a division like youth, sports, and activities. However, if we all have the goal in mind of providing a better human experience, we can understand how technology and youth programs can work together to provide that. And we're both working toward a common goal. Let's look at some of the common complaints or issues that come to the manager related to information and technology. First one is information is too scattered. It's difficult to locate simple answers. What we want to do is make sure that all the information is collected and we're really looking at the most relevant information for the issue. Number 2, vital information is suppressed by support or managers. So we want to make sure that the most important information is rising to the top, like the cream rises to the top, right? Get the most important information to help make those decisions. Necessary information arrives after it is needed. And this is a little bit about planning, a little bit about process, and a little bit about motivation. We need to make sure that we're getting the information needed to make decisions well in advance of any decision making so that we can fully engage that process. Last one, too much wrong with the information or not enough right information. This is a lack thereof, right? So we don't have the information or the information we have is not the right stuff. Again, we need to make sure that we're working ahead of the curve, being proactive to get information so that if it is wrong information or not the right amount of information, we can go back and get more. I'd like to boil it down to 2 things that I read recently, and that's saying that computers are going to help us. They enhance our ability to organize, maintain, and retrieve information. So whether it's going from Google, even to whatever system you use in your organization or agencies, I can go find information because it's organized and maintained in a database of some sort. Then we can also use computers to model in some way. So this is really identifying solutions and seeing what kind of outcomes may come from those solutions. And really, that's where computers are really going to help us a lot, or technology rather than just simple computers. Our planning decisions are affected by technology. So this involves formulating objectives for an organization, identifying needed resources, determining policies that help us use our resources, gathering data to increase our abilities, capabilities, and understanding, and overall, it improves our analytical quality for our planning process because we can go out there and get information and synthesize it and better understanding what we're looking at. Let's look at this a little bit deeper. So, as far as information technology, we can gather data from external sources that relates to our issues and future issues so that we know and understand what's going on. It can help us increase opportunities for the constituents or the citizens, the local residents. We can use data and help them participate in planning and policy-making processes. So we give them information and they can better understand what we should go or move forward with. It can empower new participants. So we can have attention called to a specific issue, and then we can effectively influence the decision-making process in a good way. So giving them more information to better understand issues as far as new participants or residents or citizens. So there's a simple act of gathering, managing, and providing access to data that helps really democratize the decision-making process. Everybody is on a better foundation of understanding of the issues.